So here's the view directly across from my house. And I'm actually up, we live up on a little bit of a hill. No other house is on a hill, so actually things would probably look a little taller if I were down on ground level. But these are all the massive amounts of trees that are behind those houses. And that goes all the way down our whole street. You can see the fall colors are starting to turn a little bit. So I actually came down the stairs, so I'm not really up on the hill anymore. That might give a better perspective on the tree height. You see all those trees behind those houses, and they're really thick. Like, it's not just one row of trees. There was like many trees going back. And so what happens is it gives this feeling of being just surrounded by trees. Now over there by that apartment back there, they don't have so many trees, so that's not there, but that's Boots meowing. There's the house a little bit. I'll show you that more later. And then there's all these trees behind the house. The sun's kind of making a glare. That's kind of unfortunate timing. So even though, like, you know, our little piece of land that we live on is maybe 1/3 of an acre, so it's not like you could really just put these big trees around the whole entire thing. But if you consider that just behind all the houses are all these trees, and then it goes down the road too, which I'll show you that later, there's really this feeling of just being encircled, like completely encircled by trees, and that feeling is almost everywhere around here. It's not just this street. Oh, that's my white cat. Oh, my white cat is the one meowing. He's apparently getting very upset whenever I leave the house now. He didn't. This is the front view of our house, and you can see some of the tall trees behind us. The backyard now. I'm going to take a little walk. We're walking in there. You can see how tall these trees go. So as I was saying, that there's like this feeling of being encircled by trees, like just about everywhere you go around here. Even Route 9, which has all the stores, I'll show you that later. It doesn't have trees like so close, but like in the parking lots and stuff like that. But even behind the buildings, which are set far back into the parking lots, there's trees like everywhere. So almost everywhere you go, you're constantly feeling like you're just enshrouded, or is that the right word? Shrouded, encased, encircled by trees. And let's take a little more of a look through our backyard as we walk toward the back. Isn't this lovely? Beautiful. Unless you are someone who experiences it yourself. Here's this rock outcropping in our backyard. There's the back of the house. Alright, let me go back out here again and show you this from a different perspective. Now if I had Michael's camera, this would be coming out super awesome because it has that whole steady thing going on. And you can see how, like, there's depth and depth and depth to the trees. It's not like just one line of trees. It's like, it just keeps going and going and going. Back, it's like a little forest, except not of pine trees. And then that's what the rock outcropping looks like from that point of view. And you could walk up this slope if you wanted to. You could walk up this way if you wanted to and go up there. There's a bird feeder. Some more tree lineage. This beige house with the brown trim is my immediate neighbor. Lori and Scott live there. They're like really super sweet and help everybody. On the other side of them is another lady who's been here probably around the same amount of time as Aunt Jeannie, and she remembers Phil's dad from when he was a little boy. And you can see there's more trees just kind of going through her property and between the next. Now you don't always get trees in between every single like 2 houses, but there's almost always trees in the back. And then in this case, there's trees coming through those 2 houses, which kind of gives a little bit more of that encircled feeling. Here we are driving down our street. Kind of wish I had Michael's camera for this one, but I cut out the more jerky parts, if you can believe that. There was actually some worse parts that I didn't show. Now we're on Route 9, and we're coming to a stoplight. You can see
some really big bushy trees around in the back. Oh, I got that out of order because this is actually now the end of our street and we're about to turn on the next street that leads to Route 9. So sorry, I kind of got those out of line. That's a tree line behind a self-storage place. It's pretty awesome, and we'll see some bigger stores coming up soon. There's Kohl's. Look at all the trees behind Kohl's. It's just a big thicket. There's like an outdoor strip mall. I think that's Toys R Us right there. Oh, Babies R Us. Same thing, pretty much. And again, just more of the strip mall. And look at all the trees, though, behind it. That's the main point I'm trying to show you. Look at that. That's freaking beautiful. Beautiful. And here's some more of Route 9. Look at that. Woo! I love that. This is why I think it's so pretty. The Hudson Valley, which is where we live in the Hudson Valley, is actually on a list of one of the top 20 most beautiful places in the world to live. But the thing I find that's interesting is I can no longer find any postcards here because after you started sending postcards from Oregon, I wanted to send postcards from here. Look at those trees, pretty. And I can't find any. I found some once a long time ago in a really remote area and I can't remember where it is. But I think it's weird that Sandy, Oregon has more pride about their place that you can find postcards and souvenirs in every grocery store and all those kind of places. And we are actually on one of the top 20 places in the whole entire world to live and you can't find a postcard. That's my friend's house. Is that awesome or what? Yeah. That frickin' rocks. I put this in slow motion because it kind of helped the jerkiness look a little bit better. But this is just another street where other people live. I think this might have been the same street as my friend's house is on. And again, look, you can see the height of the trees in relation to this car that's approaching. It's pretty awesome. Right? And there's some really pretty stuff coming up ahead. There's this really cute little town. It's called The Village for short, and I believe the whole thing is called the Village of Wappingers Falls. We live in Wappingers Falls, and then there's another place called, I think, just Wappingers. I don't know, it gets kind of confusing. But the village is really cute, and I have some footage of that coming up ahead. We're at a stop sign right now. I'm not sure why I left that there in my film. Sorry about that. I'm actually just overdubbing this part. Some of my vocals I actually was speaking as I was filming, and some of it I was just filming, and I'm now doing overdubs. And when I'm doing overdubs, you can sometimes hear the funky sounds of my Mac computer because there's something wrong with it, but my Mac is the only computer that has a filmmaking program in it. So fortunately, it still works well enough that I can make the films, but when I do vocal overdubs, it's actually a little quieter right now, but on my first vocal overdub. Oh, here's the village. Isn't that cute? Look at that clock thing. Isn't that adorable? Wish I had Michael's camera for this. Seriously, dude. I'm going to save up, after I save up for a bunch of other things I need. And when I get those taken care of, I'm going to get one of those cameras because this would look so much better if I had his camera. But anyway. The main point, oh, there's the library. Isn't that a cute library? I'll get a better picture of that one day. Look, Badass Coffee. I had to put that in there. Badass Coffee. Donald Trump actually apparently stopped there because of the name. He was in town one day, and he saw that name, and he apparently stopped there. Look at all the trees. Because it was called Badass Coffee. Look at how beautiful these trees are coming up. I actually filmed this shortly after we came back from our trip, so this was the beginning of October, and the trees had not yet turned that much in color as of that point. Now, the turning point varies year to year, and it just depends on when the cold starts setting in, because it's those cold nights that begin the turning of the color process. One time we came for Phil's birthday, this was years ago before we lived here, and his birthday is September 29th, and all the leaves were already gone. So you never know. Anyway, this is the parking lot of a grocery store, and these are all the beautiful trees around it. Look at that. I mean, that is just so thick and beautiful. It's just massive. And this is the fun craft store that I like to go to right here, AC Moore Arts and Crafts. Now, it doesn't have quite as nifty things as that craft store that we visited in Oregon over there, but it's pretty awesome, and we get a lot of our stuff there, my neighbor and I. And I'm just trying to show you the trees in the parking lot, woo, but I kind of went a little fast there. Sorry for that. Hope it didn't kill your eyeballs too much. But I was just trying to give you like the beautiful idea of it. But seeing it on a little screen ahead of you is nothing like being standing there and just seeing how big it is all around you. You know, I'm sure you've had that experience in places you've been. So try and just imagine that, you know, but I mean, I know you can't because you just don't know what it's really like to just be in it and to just be able to turn a circle and just see it all around you and how tall it actually is. There's our car, our white car right there. Well, maybe I could have cut some of this part out, but I didn't. If you want to close your eyes, I'll tell you when you can open them again. Alright, now we're on Route 9 again. I think we're going back to our house. Oh no, this isn't Route 9. This is Spackenkill Road. It's the road off Route 9 going to R Street. This is what we get to see every day going to R Street. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how tall those trees are. Oh my gosh, I love them. They're so pretty. And here's our street, Dorothy Heights. And the beginning of the street... Oh, I'm still taping. The beginning of the street is